Good evening. So we have this situation right now in the marketplace, in the housing marketplace, where people are starting to question why their deals aren't going swell. You know, like for the last 2 years, you list your house and it goes for like 3 times over asking. I'm exaggerating, but I mean, it's like you're done within the first weekend. You price whatever you want to because somebody's going to pay more than that, and you just go down the road. And then maybe you go and buy another house and you get in the same situation where you overpay for a house. So that's the way it's been for 3 years. Now, I don't want to get into like overpay as far as, look, maybe if that's what you thought you should pay, you go right ahead. I had buyers that I had to help buy a house, and they wanted that house, and so we had to go over asking. So I don't want you to think that I'm criticizing anyone for that. But it's starting to become a situation where real estate agents have to work again. And what I mean by that, we've had to work very, very hard during this situation as far as writing contracts and showing houses, and then writing offers, and then there's 30 other offers and you don't get the house, and so you show more houses and you show. We worked very hard for the past 3 years, but what I'm saying is now we have to work really hard to sell homes, and that hadn't been the case as far as you list a house, you put it up there, and you make sure that it looks somewhat decent, and someone will likely buy it. Those days are coming to an end, and that's okay. This is more what I'm used to as an agent. So let's get into this. This is from Reddit, and I just wanted to read it, and I just wanted to go over, kind of my thoughts on it. I thought it was interesting. So, is it normal for your realtor to ask to reduce the price by $50,000 in the first 2 weeks? Well, that is an interesting headline. Let's look more into it. It says, our realtor gave us a recommended price and we accepted it. They told us that if we paid for staging, that they thought we would get a really good showing with that price and hopefully get into a bidding war. So we spent $5,000 on staging, also updated painted the exterior, the color they recommended for selling as opposed to a color we would like, plus a bunch of other smaller updates. Oh, shoot. Got to check something. Not good. So sorry about that. I got to go here. So now 2 weeks later, we haven't gotten much interest. Mostly the people who have toured have said that the layout doesn't work for them. One suggested that they'd make an offer for a much lower price because the buyers don't need all the bedrooms and would want to afford to tear down walls and renovate to build larger rooms. Our realtor thinks that we should lower the price $50,000 to get interest and wants us to do it ASAP so that we will still have the home staged for showing. The thing is, if we'd known that we'd be looking at $50,000 less, we wouldn't have paid for staging. I don't know that we would have even moved forward with selling. It would have been a very different conversation. And we told the realtor up front that we had hard requirements for selling price without leading them to what our price would be. So they promised they'd get us a good estimate up front. Now we feel like we're in the hole more than $10,000 considering pulling the house off the market. Is this a typical seller experience? I've never actually sold a home through a realtor before. Edit to add information being requested. We did not pressure the realtor to list higher. We asked them what they thought it would list at, then went with that price. We also asked them beforehand to be thoughtful about the list price because we needed to know what was reasonable to expect in an income so that we could make plans for my parents' living situation. They told us that they were going to do a careful market analysis before they got back to us on the list price. Now, this is bizarre. Now, I don't mean that's bizarre. Not that it couldn't happen, but there's so many questions here that we don't have the answers to. So here's some of the things we don't have the answers to. Okay, 1, why are you moving? Okay, we get some sort of weird glimpse here at the end. It says, so that we could make plans for my parents' living situation. Now, I don't know what that means. Does that mean you need to sell your house so that you could use that income to help your parents? But then where are you living? So that's one of the questions I always like to ask when I meet somebody up front is, first of all, because I figure they're going to be shopping my services to 3 other agents anyway, so might as well get that out of the way. That is, why are you moving? Because if you can't give me a good reason why you're moving or you're selling, then you're just looking for an estimate for me for free, and I don't really have the time for that. I mean, to be honest. So what is the motivation here? Why are we selling? So we don't know that. Second thing is we don't know the price. If this is $1 million house, cutting $50,000 off of it is nothing. It's nothing. Hell, $100,000, nothing. At least in St. Louis. Wouldn't think anything of it. I know that sounds crazy, but it's all kind of a percentage game. Just as an example, I had a house they were asking $400,000 for it this past summer, and it ended up selling for $560,000. That's $160,000 over asking. Okay, did the realtor not do their job there, or did they do too good of a job, or did it have anything to do with the realtor at all? So that's questionable. The other thing is we're going through this line by line. And I don't mean to pick at these people. They admit themselves they're not like sophisticated sellers, and that's okay. That's okay. But they told us that if we paid for staging, they thought we'd get a really good showing with that price and hopefully get into a bidding war. So we spent $5,000 on staging, also updated painted the exterior color they recommended for selling, as opposed to a color we would like, plus a bunch of other smaller updates. Very interesting thing. So when you see in parentheses, as opposed to a color we would like, as someone selling a house, okay, it's not about you. And so this leads me to believe that they may have reservations about selling in the first place. Like they just kind of put the market up, they put the house on the market for just to see what would happen. But that doesn't account for the $5,000 on staging. Now, I can get staging for less than $2,000 here in St. Louis. So I'm a little confused why they're all the way. Well, I could back then. I haven't needed to stage a house in so long. But it's not that much more. So maybe this is a larger house. Again, it lends credence to that idea that this is a more expensive property. It says, now 2 weeks later, we haven't gotten much interest. Well, look, if you missed the first weekend, all right, you missed the first weekend and you didn't have many showings, then you're done. You're no longer going to get the price you were asking. It's over. Like that's the way it is. And you're definitely not going to have a bidding war now. And no one's going to come and say, oh. And so that may be the motivation for dropping the price $50,000. If the house is worth, say you get in the market $25,000 too much. You drop it down $50,000, you're going to get people to come through the house. Okay. Will they make an offer at that number? Maybe. Will they get into a bidding war and get up to the 25 more? Probably not. Probably not. But anyway, it's kind of fascinating. So one suggested they'd make an offer for a much lower price because the buyers don't need all the bedrooms and would want to afford to tear down walls and renovate to build large rooms. Now, look, I am an experienced lister of property, okay, of houses. And I would just say that whenever someone sends me buyer feedback, whenever an agent sends me buyer feedback, it's normally BS, okay? It's normally the house was too expensive for the buyer in the sense that they didn't want to pay what you are asking. And rather than tell you like, hey, your house is too expensive, they come up with some sort of reason that has, that's going to be the least inflammatory possible. And let me just tell you, real world. One time I told somebody, I was like, there was a dude with a motorcycle doing wheelies in front of the house, and my buyers just wanted nothing to do with it. Okay, why would you want to live in a neighborhood with that? And that was the fact. And I got this nasty email back from the realtors like, what's the matter? Why can't kids be riding wheelies on their motorcycles down the road? And it's like, I'm not interested in arguing with you about why they can't or why they should, or that's not where I'm at. I'm just telling you why my buyer said no. And so ever since then, I've not been interested in saying anything other than, the buyers found another house or the buyers aren't interested, and just move on. It's better than the stuff that you have to deal with as an agent. So now the thing is that if we'd known that we'd be looking at $50,000 less, we wouldn't have paid for staging. Now look, monetarily this is a little confusing. So you were willing to pay $5 to make $50, but now you're willing to pay $0 to make nothing. The problem I have with this is something that happens to me often is somebody will come in and they'll call me and they'll say, John, what do you think this house will go for? And I look at the comps and I look at some of the other houses available. I say, I think you got a range, probably be around in this area here. Okay. And then I say, if you do these things, I think I can get this number. Okay. Right. So if you do these things, but you know what always happens? They don't do those things. The sellers don't do those things. And then they still want to list it for that high price. It's like, now you could say unfairly, John, you're marketing it wrong. You're doing the wrong thing by telling them to do these things for that price when you know they're not going to do it. Well, I don't know. Some people do. Some people do listen to you and some people don't. You just never know who that's going to be. So it says, we told the realtor up front that we had hard requirements for selling price without leading them with what our price would be, so they promised to get us a good estimate up front. Now, here's my question. Did you only talk to one real estate agent? Or did you talk to 3 real estate agents and take whatever number was the highest? Because it says here, like, to edit to the information being requested, we did not pressure the realtor to list higher. Well, if you had 3 real estate agents and they picked the highest number anyway, and you were the one, that's called buying the listing, by the way. It's a strategy that's older than time. Because once you have a house under contract and listed, why would you switch agents? You've already got it listed. That's not a great, I mean, it's not something I particularly find enjoyable or something that I want to be involved with, but I've definitely lost listings because of it. I'm quite aware of it. So it says, but just like, if you ever thought, see, here's the thing. It says, we also asked them beforehand to be thoughtful about their list price because we needed to know what was reasonable to expect in income so we could make plans for my parents' living situation. But have you ever thought that your real estate agent might just be a bad real estate agent? Do you know how many people list houses like terribly as real estate agents? Like, I mean, taking pictures with their iPhones and stuff like that for listing pictures. I mean, it's horrible. I mean, the idea, what makes you think you got a good real estate agent is my question. Did they just sound did they say a good game and you just fell for it? They told us that they were going to do a careful market analysis before they got back to us on this list. Well, what are they supposed to say? We'll just throw a number on it and see what happens. I mean, they're real estate agents. They have to say something. So, like, we don't know enough. We literally don't know enough to know what's going on with this situation. We know that you're not getting showings, okay? And we know that they've asked for it. Now, look, some real estate agents say it's a price improvement, which I've always thought is garbage. It's a price change. They're lowering the price. It's not an improvement, okay? I hate that. Now, you can like it and everything. That's fine. It's just, I always like to try to be honest with my sellers, and it's like, look, if we missed on the price, then we need to lower the price. I don't think that it's wrong, the timing to lower the price now. It says in the first 2 weeks. I definitely don't think that's wrong because, look, it's obvious that you've missed on price. So let's go and see, like, what would I do? So the first thing I would do is I would go and I'd look at a bunch of other houses that are currently for sale in the area with the same characteristics as this home and see what they're selling for. If I see comps that are like $100,000 less than what we've listed our house for, and we already don't have showings, we got to lower the price, okay? Now, as far as the staging, normally you get staging for like six, I think I got it for 6 months last time, but maybe I'm wrong. So we got an opportunity to remarket this property and reposition this property. Maybe we take it off the market for a week or two and we get the thing looking much, much better. Even with the staging, maybe there's things that are not right. But those are the places where I would start. Obviously, you're wrong on price. Okay. Now, as far as what should you do? Well, I don't know your situation, right? I don't know these people's situation, so I don't know. I mean, are they going to stay in the home and just like eat the $10,000 that they've got out in staging and I guess painting and whatever? Is that an option? If it's not an option, then you're going to have to lower the price. That's all there is to it. I feel bad for these people. I was just doing an article about real estate agents. It's so easy to be a real estate agent. We make too much money, all that kind of stuff. But then you see articles like this where it seems like these people did not have success with their listing, and I feel bad. Who knows? It's a wild thing. Are we going to see more stories going forward about how houses haven't sold and how my real estate agent thinks we should lower the price and things of this nature? Yes. Yes. Same like when there was the buying mania. Do you remember all the stories where people were upset with, or they were experiencing buyer's remorse with their home in a hot market? It's going to be one group is going to complain all the time unless it's a very balanced market. And really, it hasn't been a balanced market for years. Either the buyers have had all the power or the sellers have had all the power, and it's just been one thing after another. So, yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. You think like, hey, the market is just on fire, right? We should list our house $30,000 more than any house in the neighborhood because we bought this house, and since we're so great, everyone else is just going to know that we're great, and then they'll just pay extra money for it. You know, it's a great market. It's hot. We should just take advantage. You just need one sell. You just need one buyer, right? You only need one. Yeah. Still got to price it right. Still got to price it right. They've missed. They need to reposition the property immediately. The agent, we don't know if it was a bold move because we don't know what the asking price of the home is. We don't know what kind of home it is, but something's got to be done there. Don't be surprised if you see more stories like this going forward, though. That's all I have for you tonight. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I will catch you on the next one.